What's going on, my fellow Jedi and Padawans? Welcome back to another Jedi gaming video, and if you guys are new, welcome. Y'all have been blowing up the channel lately, and I truly appreciate that support, and I hope everybody is doing fantastic today. Now, in today's video, with all the twabs and everything coming out lately, since it's a Thursday here, want to go over something I think is going to be a new meta once our pulse rifles, our dad rifles, become king with those sandbox updates. So right here inside of this video, we're going to be going over the PvE and PvP god rolls that I think this weapon you should be looking out for on those drops. And just to say, this is a PvE drop from the dungeon that can roll with Desperado. First pulse rifle outside of our trials or endgame crucible with a broadsword, claymore, everything like that back in the day. That can roll with Desperado. So this is starting off pretty high tier in my respect just for that. So talking about Desperado, we're going to go over PvP first. So for me, I am definitely going to go with this arrowhead break that they suggest here for that recoil control on the weapon, since it is a high impact. Some of those bounces when you get down do happen to be pretty hefty, so that recoil control helps. And Crucible, with that handling, you can pull the pulse rifle out a little bit faster and get those headshots on. As you know, your boy always going with ricochet rounds right here for our PvP rolls. Just think it is by far the best in slot for this second column. Moving on to our third. In my personal opinion, you have two options. I love perpetual motion for that PvP realm, getting that nice increased stability, handling, and reload speed when you get the stacks to start increasing with this, and it's not bad because you're pretty much always moving inside a crucible. Now for me, you could also go like they said right here, well-rounded, so when you throw a grenade or hit a target with a charged melee, so my hunters especially getting them back fast, you also get increased weapon stability, handling, and range. So they kind of do the same thing, just this with well-rounded is giving it to you with those three stats via grenade or melees, and then perpetual motion is moving around, so I personally would go with perpetual motion. Now, in our final slot right here, we have Desperado. Definitely the perk you should be looking for. So when you get those precision defeats and you reload, the increased fire rate goes super fast. So you can absolutely laser people because the impact of the high impact frame doesn't change, but you're shooting this thing like you would for like our Darkest Below or our Peace of Mind pulse rifle. So throwing this Desperado, getting it procced for PvP is god tier. And like I said, it's our first drop from a PvE activity that can have Desperado on it. So definitely looking for this for PvP. Moving on to the PvE side of this weapon, which it also has some pretty fun perks for stasis, especially. For our barrels though, I am going to go with arrowhead break again for that recoil control. Like I said, with that high impact, it does have a decent amount of bounce, and the handling is nice for those sticky situations when you're getting hurt and you have to pull out the pulse quick and kind of hit fire it in those situations. Now for me, in our second column, I go appended mag, so you get that extra magazine size without the penalty of reload like we have here, which is minus 20 to your reload speed. So that does kind of suck with having to reload faster, even though you get a couple more bullets than you would with appended. So that's why I choose appended right here. Now in our third column, I think you have two choices again. Personally, I'm going with heating up. So when you get final blows with this weapon, it increases accuracy and stability, which is playing into that high impact frame and the bounce that we have on this weapon. Followed by feeding frenzy. So when you get those precision shots, especially if you're pairing feeding frenzy with headstone, you're going to get that really fast reload, being able to throw more bullets downfield, getting those defeats. In the fourth column here, we have two different options. Again, I'm going to go with Vorpal or Headstone Vorpal more for those activities that you're going in and dealing damage to champions, stunning champions with this, so you can get that Vorpal to proc on those bosses and mini bosses. But Headstone is super good for that ad management and stasis. I do like this for a PvE perk just in general on the weapons that can roll with it. So I kind of would go Headstone, especially if I'm pairing that with Feeding Frenzy, and then more along the lines of Vorpal in all seriousness if I'm going with Heating Up or Feeding Frenzy, more the Heating Up for me. So Feeding Frenzy Headstone is probably my god roll for PvE personally, the way I play with the weapon, but also Heating Up Vorpal is a great alternative. Plus, in all seriousness, this perk, Adaptive Munitions, throwing this in as a wild card, breaking those non-matching shield types with this weapon, having this on as a stasis burn, you can go into some of those end games and break stasis, solar, and void shields with this primary pulse rifle because of this perk. So just throwing that out there as an option. I'm gonna be looking for a roll and saving one, seeing how it plays out actually breaking those shields in some of those in-game activities. But that is it for the god rolls right here. Definitely suggest heading into the Duality Dungeon and seeing if you can snag yourself a roll or two of these. Seems to drop a decent amount, having a chance at the boss as well as the first encounter, I do believe. So that is super nice to have a couple options, and the dungeon is farmable, so also a banger right there. Now, thank you guys so much again for the support. It means a lot to me. Hopefully y'all like this god roll guide for the new purpose pulse rifle. Definitely gonna be meta for both PvP and PvE in my personal opinion once we get some of those pulse sandbox changes. So thank you guys again. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.